Anyways, welcome back everybody to Out at Reese's podcast. I'm your host, Reese Shalvis, and I have a guest today, my cousin.
Hi, I'm Daniel.
Lee.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's good to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I've had a very interesting weekend.
Oh, really?
But yeah,
Let's hear about it. What'd you do?
I mean, it wasn't that interesting actually. It was just kind of whack. I don't want to go. There's certain personal things about it with people that I don't want to kind of talk about, but
Okay.
But I went on a date. At least
right.
I think it was a date. I don't know. Is either just hanging out with someone who I've known for a couple of years, or like that, we re-met up, or is a date. I don't know. But
all right.
But other than that, I just went to City Creek and just downtown Salt Lake, which was pretty fun last night.
Cool. All right.
Well, has your weekend been pretty interesting?
Yeah, same here. I went on a first date.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up.
It was funny though, because we were talking and making plans, and we were like, okay, this time, and then we're gonna do this. And she was like, okay. And so I texted her the same day, and she's like, so I actually picked up a job at work. And I said, okay, that's fine. We can do something after. And then we went a few hours. Deadline was getting closer, and I was like, hey, we still on?
Oh no.
Didn't text back. And so I said, okay, maybe we can just reschedule, because I know her work is busy and it's tiring. And so she was like, no, it's fine. We can go and do something. And I said, okay, it's 8 o'clock right now. What do you want to do? And
8 p.m.?
Yeah, 8 p.m. And we were supposed to go to the dinosaur museum, right? But that closes at 5. That closes at 8. I'm sorry. And so we just ended up going bowling, and it was a fun time.
Hey, that's at least she made it.
Yeah.
You made it.
It was
second dates?
Maybe. Probably.
Probably. That's what's up. Yeah. I haven't been doing too much dating lately. I've had the dating apps. I just haven't been trying to set up dates really. So it's in the last year I've probably gone on 3 dates.
Really?
3 dates or something. It's just
I'm right there with you. Don't worry.
Oh, especially these last few months since I really started trying to grind on my podcast. I just feel like I haven't had the mental capacity to try dating. I mean, I did go on a date yesterday, which it was a lot of fun. We just got coffee. But if you consider that a date,
well, pre-date. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe it's because we haven't spoken for a couple of years now, and so I was like, man, is this I don't know. It's one of those things where it's I don't know if it's a date or if it's just we are just we're just re-meeting up just to catch up.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
what you can do is you can jokingly call it a date, and if she plays along, then it was a date.
Right. Well, I'm thinking of actually asking her to go on a double date with me and my friend, because I feel like a double date's less intimate.
Yeah.
Right. It's more casual, but it still implies a date, and so it's a lot easier to probably just kind of see are her intentions to date, or are her intentions to just be friends, obviously. It's funny, she might actually be listening to this podcast. I don't know if she's listened to mine, because we talked about it. She mentioned, she's like, oh, you have a podcast, right? And so I don't know if she's heard episodes or listening to them, but this probably won't go up for a couple months from.
Yeah, so you might already have your answer by then.
Exactly. So she's either gonna be listening to every episode by then, or just nothing, right?
Yeah.
But at this point, if whatever happens, it's it'll just be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
In time,
Oh yeah.
But it is crazy. So let's just get to know you, man. This is your first time on my podcast, and here soon in the next several months or so, you're gonna be kind of exploring certain topics with me. So let's get to know you a little bit.
Hi. My name's Daniel. Obviously. I'm your cousin, so related by blood. We got that going. I've been kind of into music for the past 7-8 years, right? It was something that was started in middle school, and it was started by my older brother, Jonathan. He introduced me to a few songs, introduced me to a few bands, and I was struck. I got the itch, you know? And since then, I have been... I've taught myself how to play the guitar. I've taught myself how to play the drums.
Did you ever go take any lessons? Like,
no.
Just like purely self-taught from the internet and stuff?
Yeah. And before he left on his mission, Jonathan showed me a few things, and Kevin is still trying to get a few things going. But
those are his brothers,
yeah,
by the way.
Older, and then older. But it's been fun. I have made a few guitars.
Is that like from a woodshop class you had in high school? Or?
Yeah. I made 3 throughout my high school career, just as my woodshop final project, and they've been fun. They've been really fun.
They pretty high quality?
Yeah. I'd say the most recent one the highest, of course, but I feel like I learned a lot, and I feel very proud of those.
How long you been self-teaching yourself guitar now?
I'd say about 4 years, probably.
4 years, okay.
Yeah.
So I am self-taught on guitar. You're much better than I am, though. I started in 2014. The reason I'm not that good, though, is because I've taken so many long breaks, and there's only maybe probably a year total since I started of just time where I really took it seriously. So and it was mostly just creating my own songs, not trying to learn new techniques or styles. So I'd still consider myself between beginner to intermediate in skill level.
Well, it's like calling myself self-taught is it feels like I've got a little bit of like imposter syndrome, because I might be able to like play the riff, but I didn't write it. I didn't come up with it. I don't know the like theory behind it. And so I actually admire the way that you went and just like creating your own stuff off the bat. I feel like that's the better way to go.
I have so many like 1 to 2, maybe 3 riff songs, and that's all I'd make, and I'd move on to the next. There's very few times I actually made like full songs with lyrics and everything. I think I made like 4 or 5 songs total with like lyrics and stuff. I can kind of remember some of them. I have them recorded though on my phone, but
I'd love to hear them.
Maybe
if you ever wanted to add more instruments.
This was back in like 9th grade, so maybe I'll do a podcast where I sing old songs.
That'd be a great idea.
That'd be funny.
Do it for like a Twitch stream. Watch the viewer count go up.
I'm actually switching from Twitch to YouTube here soon.
Oh,
for
really?
Streaming. Yeah. So I haven't streamed for a minute.
Okay.
But I want to get back into it just a couple times a week, and I've just decided like I don't think Twitch is the place I want to grow. I want it to be YouTube, and so I'm gonna be doing one final Twitch stream.
Okay.
So any consistent viewers I previously had, if they happen to jump into stream on my last one and just be like, hey, what's up? I'm gonna tell them like I'm moving to YouTube. So if you guys wanna follow me there, I'm gonna be trying to stream at least every Tuesday and still figuring out the rest of the days. But
okay. That's what I hear is best is YouTube. Twitch, from what I hear, is going way downhill.
I've heard that too. Like I don't know too much about the details of it.
Yeah.
But I just want to centralize my platform on YouTube. Like my podcast is on Spotify and it's on Apple, Google, and like most of my viewership for those platforms is Apple.
Yeah.
Besides YouTube. YouTube's my biggest platform, but like YouTube is my main platform for the podcast right now as well. So it's like I'm just gonna try and centralize everything on YouTube.
Okay.
So that'll be pretty cool. And
yeah, that'll be great, honestly.
Yeah, and actually, so part of the reason I actually have Daniel on is he's gonna be exploring a new music genre. So like as anyone listening may know, I've recently been exploring the underground hip hop scene of Salt Lake City and some other parts of the country, like from Seattle, Los Angeles, Miami, and such. And it's honestly been a crazy journey. And I mean, I'm not gonna ever fully leave these communities. I want to be a part of them forever.
Yeah.
But my main content is gonna start shifting into different. For podcasting is gonna be shifting into different not just music genres, but just different cultures and whatever else, right? And so I asked Daniel if he wanted to join me for exploring the punk rock scene.
I'm excited, honestly. It's one of my favorite genres, and some of my favorite people are in the punk rock scene. So,
what are some of your favorite bands?
Obviously, Blink-182 is up, you know. Then there's the Offsprings. Love the Offsprings.
Ooh, I like the Offsprings. It's actually Jono who got me into them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Jonathan got me into the Offsprings. And so he's kind of been like the staple point in all of my taste in music. It's because he was just so branched out. He like knew everything, right? And so he showed me the Descendants, you know, Rise Against, all of these other great bands.
Who showed you Avenged Sevenfold?
Jonathan. Man.
I found that band through Black Ops 2 Zombies.
Yeah.
Origins map.
Oh, it was such a good intro.
So good.
It was perfect.
They couldn't have chosen a better. I don't know. Do you know if they made the song for Zombies or if they had just made it around the same time? And because I know that I know Avenged Sevenfold already had contracts with like Activision or something to write some music for them. Like the Call of the Dead song was written for the Zombies map Call of the Dead. I'm pretty sure, right? But I don't know about this one. I don't know. What do you?
So I'm pretty sure we looked it up, and it said that they did write it.
They did write it. I can't remember what they had said, but
I feel like the theme of Shepherd of Fire, which is the song that is played during Call of Duty Origins, I don't feel like it's a song that they would have made if they hadn't have been told about the Zombies games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to think about. Because the song itself is from the point of Satan trying to say, come here, let me in, you know?
Right.
And so the Zombies games are all about Satan trying to destroy the world, you know?
Yeah. And if you really dig deep into specifically the storyline behind the Origins map, do you know much about Black Ops 2 or just Call of Duty Zombies lore at all?
I've seen like one YouTube video.
I used to, man, when I was in middle school and high school, I'd dive into that so deep. I'd be like watching these like 4-hour long videos just explaining the entire storyline.
I remember those days.
It's definitely interesting how they get like bands like Avenged Sevenfold to just start making music for them and such. So, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say they wouldn't be where they are without Call of Duty.
Were they smaller back then?
I don't know if they were like smaller, but they sure weren't as big of a household name.
I actually never got into Avenged Sevenfold until probably like 2017.
Really?
2017 to 2019, somewhere between there, because I'd heard the song. I just never got into their band. I never even knew they were the ones that wrote the song until after, you know, one of my exes was huge into metal and the metal genre and everything, and so I was like, oh, I'll just give it a shot. And then when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, this song's sick. I remember how cool this song was, and so I looked up the band who wrote this song, and that's where I started listening to them.
Okay.
So I haven't been a long time fan of, like, probably 5 years now, 4 or 5 years of Avenged Sevenfold, but
okay. Well, I kind of got into the band, 2020. It was part of my season 1 of my gym arc.
Your gym arc.
It was during one of those periods where I was going off and on, and so I saw the song and I was like, this is it. This marks this portion of my life.
Dude, no, it's crazy. You use Spotify, right?
Yeah.
So you know how they have like your playlists from each year of your main listen to songs.
Yeah.
It's so interesting going back to old years, shuffling it, and then like just getting hit with the nostalgia of like, whoa, I remember when I was like so into these songs specifically, because my music taste, it's always changing. I'll always have the same music tastes, but for what I'm actively listening to is always like going around, right? It's like, and it's so interesting just listening back to your old songs that you were like so passionately into, and it's like, man, it's crazy how much it's changed. I mean, you still like the songs, you're just not into them like that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, some bands like Avenged Sevenfold has been in my top 5 for the last like 3 years, on Spotify Wrapped. But
All right. That's pretty consistent. It's been my number one for the second year in a row, and I'm sure it'll hit at least one more before.
yeah, I actually, when it comes to, I know this isn't, we're kind of going into a different genre, but like, so
Yeah.
back on punk rock, I haven't heard a crazy amount of bands. I think the only ones I've actually actively listened to is The Offspring, Blink-182, Green Day, and there's one more. I just can't think of them right now. But I was like, for the bands that I have listened to like that, I was pretty into, especially like probably early 2010s, like 2011 and 12 is when I was really into Blink-182, and then, but I haven't really explored that genre too much, which is partly why I want to explore the underground scene, because the underground scene is essentially going to be the next generation of big punk rock bands and stuff, because eventually our old favorite, as we get older, right? Because when I was growing up, like say Blink-182, they're from the 90s, right? And it's like eventually they're going to retire one day. I mean, maybe they'll be like the Beach Boys, performing in their 70s, right?
Crazy.
But the Beach Boys aren't big like they aren't as big anymore as they used to be, and so there's going to be a new wave of bands and artists. So like when exploring the hip hop scene, it's very interesting because this is probably the perspective that I've been able to see it from, having a podcast, interviewing all these artists. It's been very interesting to see it as like, this is not exactly obviously different times, but essentially the same concept with this underground community.
Yeah.
This was how the previous generation of hip hop artists, the big ones, this is where they came from. They came from communities similar to this, just of their time, right? And so it's like as I explored the hip hop community scene, it's like these are going to be the next big guys. You know, it's like maybe some of them won't make it, maybe some of them will, right? But the whole community, this whole community is going to be like the next generation of, and I think genres are always changing, and like the hip hop 10 years from now might sound a little different from what it sounds like now, for what's popping off and what's big, because music is like, it always evolves, it always changes, and it's just so interesting to be a part of a wave like this that is going to be the next generation of hip hop stars. And so I'm really interested in the punk rock scene. I want to explore more about it, and like not just the history of it, and not just the community, but just the people that are going to make it what it is. You know what I mean? Like what it is now and what it will be in the future. And so because of my lack of knowledge, I was like, I think this is the perfect opportunity to start exploring these different, underground scenes and such.
Yeah.
And just see where it goes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's really crazy to think how 10, 20 years from now, we're going to have people doing things that we couldn't even comprehend, with just different instruments, different, skills. I
was actually, on that note, I was actually having a conversation with one of my friends the other day, and I was thinking about it, and thinking about back to, let's say, the 70s, 80s. Nobody really had computers.
Yeah.
Like having a computer wasn't a thing. So to make and record music took a lot of money, time, people, right? And so most people couldn't just make music like that and just post it somewhere for people to see. But because of like the modern day technology with music, with how we have computers, we have all these different recording softwares, editing softwares, free stuff too that you can get for free. All you need to do is buy a laptop, and that's all you need. Maybe a pair of headphones, so for $300, you get a $50 headphones, a $250 computer, and you can make music. It's like everybody essentially has access to making music nowadays, and so we've seen such a massive growth of people trying to make music. The amount of people trying to make music now is exponentially grown compared to what it was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
because it's just the access that is there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. You know Steve Lacy, right?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I don't.
He's a really big artist. He had a few songs blow up on TikTok, and he was filming like a little thing. And how he records a lot of his songs is he'll just plug his guitar into Bandcamp, or not Bandcamp. What is it? GarageBand.
Oh, GarageBand, like yeah.
And he'll just record songs there and then send it off to a producer.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
And so it's really simple to make music, but it's not easy. You know?
Oh, it's so hard. I've been trying to get into making like trap beats, hip hop beats, lo-fi type stuff, right? And even like I just recently, it was probably a couple months ago, I made a video game theme song.
Oh, really?
Did I ever show you that? I'll have to show you it after this podcast. You'll have to tell me what you think.
Love to hear it.
But so yeah, I've been learning how to use FL Studio.
Okay.
And at first I was like, oh yeah, making a song, that shouldn't be too hard. Let's just kind of just putting timing sounds together, right? Warping the sounds a little bit, however you want to get them. Then I actually started to try, and I was like, man, this is hard. Yeah. This is so hard. Like, it takes a lot of talent. It's a huge learning curve to make songs.
Oh yeah.
Whether you're playing them on an actual instrument or just compiling sounds together on like FL Studio.
Yeah.
That, like mixing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how much goes into it. And like just my friend Christian, I'm actually not going to announce that yet, but one of my friends, he's been on the podcast here a couple times, and he's like pretty good at producing sounds. He makes amazing sounds, and everything he's showing me when he's like showing me how to use it, it's like so much. I'm like, I didn't know that this much went into making music. This is crazy,
Yeah. You got all these different rules you got to follow. There's the circle of fifths. You got to get timing, beats. It's crazy.
It's like, and he said he only knows like, he's shown he knows a lot about all the different things that goes into it. Mm-hmm. Yet he still says, I only know a fraction of what actually goes into making it. And it's just like, are you serious? Like
that's kind of what it is with like imposter syndrome. It's like, you have more knowledge than the average person, but you don't feel like you have enough.
Yeah, I totally get that. I actually suffer from imposter syndrome on this podcast.
Oh, really?
Because I've had a lot of people hype me up, not only saying like, "Oh man, I love your show, love what you're doing," but a lot of people saying, "Man, we see how hard you're working. We see how much you're grinding with this podcast, weekly uploads. See you constantly, posting clips, interviewing all these artists." But a part of me feels like, am I working as hard as they think? Like, yeah. I mean, I know I'm putting in the work I need to, but is it actually the amount that they think I am, right? Like, and I wonder if everyone suffers from that when they're really working hard.
Yeah. Well, if you're not thinking to yourself, am I doing enough, then you're not growing. It's like a quote that I once heard. It's, if you're constantly wondering if you're a good person or not, you're a good person. Because a bad person doesn't care if they're going to be a good person or not.
That's true. I actually really like that. That's so interesting. So like basically it kind of just comes down to allowing yourself to ask yourself, almost humble yourself in a sense, and ask yourself, man, am I doing enough? Yeah. Then it opens your mind to essentially make you feel, I probably am. I'm probably not. So it kind of can drive you, I need to work a little harder. Yeah. As you work harder, you still question, still not enough. So you keep going, and eventually it's like from where you started to where you are now, say a year, 2 years later, it's like, because you've allowed yourself to look at yourself that way, you've allowed yourself to grow and push past all your boundaries and all your limits.
Yeah.
That's a super interesting take. I've never thought about that like that. That's interesting.
It's like, achieving your goals, the hardest thing about doing it is the mindset. You got to really switch that mindset,
Oh, 100%. It's so hard to really change your mindset takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that like, if you aren't willing to do what it takes, you're not going to really see the progress you want to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it almost takes, to change your mindset to do what you want to do, it almost takes a new lifestyle.
Yeah.
You have to like change your lifestyle to change your mindset almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, say business owner, whatever it is you want to do, you literally have to change your lifestyle from, say, if you're someone who always, let's say you playing 8 hours a day of video games, right? And you're just eating fast food 3 meals a day and you're not really doing anything, right? Let's say you're just watching shows, going to work and like whatever and playing games, not eating healthy, not getting your water consumption. Now, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, so your lifestyle is playing video games, eating unhealthy, and watching movies, whatever, and then working when you have to, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to cut out probably 90% of the video games, probably more than that, probably like 98% of the video games you play, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to start eating healthy so you can have a clear mind, clear thoughts. You're going to have to drink plenty of water, keep yourself hydrated, energized, because doing the things you're trying to do while living a unhealthy lifestyle like that, it's going to hold you back and you'll probably not see any growth you want to see. And that's what everyone learns is as they start these journeys of trying to become who they want to be, that's where they start to learn, wow, I have to sacrifice these things that I loved doing if I want to be to where I want to be. And I think that's where a lot of people get held back is because they're just not willing to give up. They're not willing to sacrifice playing that much video games a day. They're not willing to sacrifice eating junk food every day because it tastes good. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just, I mean, if you find fulfillment and happiness, I think that's totally fine if you don't want to push yourself there. But I genuinely I don't think most people are satisfied with that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think everyone wants to be great, but most people don't know how. And it's something I want to be able to help people, like as I go through my own self-development, self-growth journey, I want to be able to help people with that, and especially, exploring this hip-hop community, back on that topic, it's like learning from everyone else what they go through not only helps me improve, but then I'm able to share their life experiences, their life values with anyone listening or whoever, you know what I mean? And it's a very shared, I think that's the most beautiful thing about this community is it becomes a very shared growth, like growth and like values, because we're just, the information and growth is like being shared amongst everybody because they're networking, helping each other. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the experiences of one person can greatly help another person who's going through the same troubles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so man, we went way off of punk rock, but like we were originally supposed to talk about punk rock this episode, but it's
not where it led.
Right, and it's definitely interesting. I'm just gonna check real quick. Time flies, right?
Yeah.
Has it even felt like 30 minutes?
No, I was just stressing before I came here. I was like, do I have enough to talk about? Can I just spew my mind and have it fill 20 minutes?
I mean, for your first podcast, you've done pretty great. Like,
thank you.
That's awesome, man. I really look forward to having you on more often.
Yeah, looking forward to be on more often.
Yeah. Podcasting it's definitely a weird thing because it's like once you really get into the rhythm of it, it's like it just when you stop thinking about the cameras, the microphone, and you just start in the conversation, you're in the zone. It's like it just becomes easy to just kind of like just talk, and you realize suddenly, whoa, we've been going for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
No,
I've definitely noticed it in the way that you like talk in just casual conversation. Like a year or two ago, we could have a conversation. I'd be like, yeah, that's Reese. But now I'm looking and I'm seeing you be able to like hold these conversations, portray ideas with clarity, and you can just go, and it's impressive.
I appreciate it. It's been a lot of hard work though.
Yeah.
Like it's been scary, honestly. Like, cause even though I know I've gotten a lot better at trying to keep conversation alive on podcasts and such, it's every time before I shoot one, I still get the fear of, am I going to be able to make this one interesting and keep conversation going and whatever. And I mean, it's been working out for the most part. Some episodes have gone dry and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
But I feel like every episode I slightly improve, and
That's really good.
I'm hoping it shows.
Yeah. No, it definitely does.
But bro, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug anything, like your social media or anything?
We'll save it for when I actually get famous.
All right, and everyone stay tuned for this new punk wave, this new punk rock wave that I'm gonna be diving into for the next. I don't know. I don't even know how I'm gonna get into it yet. I mean, I have like some links into it, but
yeah,
we're just really, it's all about just seeing what happens and where it goes. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah.
Peace.
See ya.